very passionate about helping women with invisible illnesses realize that you can still lead a pretty healthy and active lifestyle. It's just not going to be the one you had envisioned for yourself, but the time is going to pass regardless. And I wasted so much time being mad at the world and feeling sorry for myself because I have all these health issues. Actually, when I was in that state, I didn't have half the health issues that I have now. And you know what? Feeling sorry for yourself, yeah, it happens, but it's not a good strategy. It ain't going to get you anywhere. And if you sit around and feel sorry for yourself, okay, then what? What happens in 5 years? Nothing's going to change. Anyway, you know what's a good way to start making changes in your life? Learn how to set boundaries. This is something that's very difficult for me because I'm a people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser to a fault. I'm a people pleaser well beyond the point of just trying to be kind to everybody, which I do. But you can be a people pleaser to your own detriment. And I kind of get into that. This information, by the way, is from Psychology Today. We teach people how to treat us by what we allow, by what we'll put up with. And what we allow is highly indicative of our feelings of self-worth. It has to do with how you view yourself. And those of us who are people pleasers, we often let others overstep our boundaries because you don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to upset anybody. It's fine. It'll be okay. It's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal. Okay. It's a very big deal. Not upsetting the other person should never be more important than not upsetting yourself, which sounds so obvious on the surface. But those of you who are watching who are people pleasers, I know you're sitting there going, well, yeah, because you do it. You do it. Going along to get along often means you're setting aside your own needs. Well, obviously, that's not going to serve your purpose. And it's really unhealthy. So here are some tips on how to set boundaries. Number 1, know thyself. What really matters to you? What are your values? Do you know? Could you explain them? If I sat down with you right now and said, okay, tell me your values, could you? Most of us have a pretty vague idea of, oh yeah, I think I know. But if pressed, most people can't explain them. The better you understand yourself, the easier it's going to be to define and stand behind your boundaries. Number 2, you need to accept responsibility for your role. Look, if you don't set boundaries and enforce them, you can't get mad that other people don't respect them. Why should they? You're not even respecting them because you're not enforcing them. A good example of this, and I stole this from one of my mentors. And this, I don't have kids, so this was definitely not me. And I don't think my mom was this kind of mom anyway. But say, for example, your mom always is on your ass about how you're raising your kid. She doesn't approve. We need to set a boundary with that. And next time you're on the phone and she starts in on you very politely, there's no need to be a jerk. Mom, you know what? I love you, but I don't want to have this conversation with you. So I've got things to do. I'm going to go, but I love you. And I'll call you back in a few days, and then get off the damn phone. Go be busy. Go find something else to do. If she calls back, for goodness sakes, don't answer. You've set that boundary. Is this going to be easy to do? No. No. And you're going to get a lot of pushback from people who are used to being able to run over you. Yes, even your own mother when you start setting that boundary. But you need to do it for your own mental health. And frankly, if you have children, you need to do that so you can show your kids how to set boundaries. Number 3, you need to love yourself. Everything that you've done, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of that, they've led you to where you are today. You need to embrace that. Look, you've made it this far. You're doing something right, obviously. When you love and respect yourself, you'll expect others to treat you accordingly. And that's definitely true. The more confident I get, the more I'm finding, you know what? No, that's not acceptable. I'm not going to put up with that. It's getting so much easier to say because I care enough about myself. I'm not going to give my peace away to somebody else. If someone refuses to respect your boundaries, guess what? That is a very big sign. And I would recommend at that point that you either eliminate that person for your life or severely curtail your interactions with them. This is what I do. I tend to see people how I want them to be instead of how they truly are. I've gotten into there's like 4 women running through my mind right now. I'm not going to gossip. I'm not going to tell. I'm not going to say anything else about it. But I get hung up on the idea of who I think somebody should be, of who I want them to be. Well, that's not fair. That's not fair to me, but it's not fair to them. Because at that point, I've set an expectation that they can't live up to. And if they don't respect my boundaries, why on earth am I giving them any benefit of the doubt? That is projection. People show you who they are. Pay attention. And you need to be choosy who you spend your time with. Number 4, heed the warnings. Yeah, I wish I was better at this. But if someone refuses to respect your boundaries, move on. Move on. You don't have the time, energy, or patience to put up with that. You really don't. You'll know. You'll know. People are never subtle about overstepping your boundaries. Now, if it's not someone you can gently, please don't be a jerk to anybody, but if it's not somebody that you can gently ease out of your life, you really have to limit your interactions with them. A good example of this. I used to work with this woman, and she was so difficult. And she worked in a different building from me. And I was walking over there one day and I caught myself, oh my gosh, and she's this and she's that. And I was getting myself just really, I could feel my anxiety building. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm giving this crazy way too much power over me. So I took an emotional step back. I have no idea how I did this. I'm going to be real honest with you, but I got it in my head. I need to take an emotional step back. And instead of, oh my gosh, she's going to nitpick the crap out of me, which she does. That's just who she is. I had to tell myself, she has an incredible eye for detail and she'll pick up things that I missed. Now, does that mean that sorry, I'm hot. I was just outside. It's pouring rain. It's warm and I'm hot. So I'm a little sweaty, but did telling myself that change who she is? Of course not. But when I did walk into that office and she started trying to cross my boundaries and nitpick me and she was trying to drag me down. And I could just smile sweetly at her and say, okay, I'll take care of it as soon as I get back to my desk. Thank you. Side note, I think it really pissed her off, which kind of made me even happier, which is catty and childish, but you know what? You take your happiness where you can get it. And it did make me feel better. But going into dealing with her with that attitude, it made all the difference. And it made it easier instead, previously I would have stood there and let her trample my boundaries and try to defend myself. But once I hit that, in fact, one time she got so mad at me, she actually got up and started angrily walking around her desk at me. I said, you need to fix this. Like, okay. And I told you, I will fix it as soon as I get back to my desk. I literally cannot do anything about it while I'm standing here. And I just walked out. I didn't lose my temper much. I might have said something else that I can't repeat online, but I didn't play into it with her. I said my piece and I walked away because I had to defend that boundary. Excuse me. Number 5, ladies, I'm looking at you. Don't be a fixer. You cannot fix somebody else. And a lot of times I'll admit I'm guilty of this. I used to be a big fixer. When you're trying to fix people, it's because you're trying to validate yourself. That person has no responsibility or obligation to validate you. You need to figure out how to validate your own feelings. Nobody asked your pushy ass to fix anything. That's what you need to remember. Change has to come from within. You can't nag somebody into changing. Think about how you feel when people pressure you about things you don't want to work on. Change has to come from within. And if it's something that you just, I can't live with this person because they do that. Well, you know what? Then there's your answer and you need to move on. You owe both yourself and that other person that much. Number 6, you need to remember you are in charge because you are. You are in charge of what you think, of what you believe, of how you feel. You can change your mind. You can change your beliefs. You can change your values without seeking permission from a damned soul. If you start making changes in your life and you get pushback, which you will, I can guarantee that you will, be prepared to walk away guilt-free and don't look back. You don't owe anybody. You don't owe anybody an explanation. And finally, number 7, you need to create psychic space. You can get emotionally attached without having an intellectual or psychological attachment. Boundaries allow you to be you without worrying about other people's emotions and their psychology. I tend to really absorb other people's emotions. Some people say I'm an empath. I don't know, whatever your beliefs are, but I do really absorb other people's emotions. I had to learn how to set a boundary. For me, it's a mental thing. I have to mentally set a boundary before I deal with a lot of other people so that I don't soak up, so that I can enjoy the good parts of them. I'm so sorry. That's really annoying. I know. But so I can enjoy the aspects of them that I either like or I can tolerate. And I'm not getting so caught up in their drama. Finally, I'm going to leave you with a quote from Abigail Brenner, MD. Gaining a healthy perspective of others without creating conflict within yourself is the goal. Isn't that great? I love that because I do want to have a healthy understanding of others. And I do want to have a level of compassion and empathy, but I don't need to soak up your BS. I don't need to get pulled into your drama. And I need to set that boundary. It's not up to you to do that. It's up to me to do that because misery loves company. And people who are unhappy, if they can drag you down 9 times out of 10, they're gonna. Crabs in a bucket. There's one crab that's starting to get out of the bucket. The rest of the crabs grab them and drag them back down to the bottom. Don't let people do that to you. Set those boundaries. Stand behind them. It's for your own inner peace. That's all I have for tonight. I am roasting. I am going to go take a cold shower. I hope you guys have a great evening, and I will be back Wednesday at, I don't even know what the hell time it is, 7:15, 7 o'clock Central Time. I figured it out finally. I'm so bad with time zones. But yes, I'm in Central Time. So if you have any questions, drop me a line on Twitter at Alaskan Courtney. And